99.3 KNSI. Welcome to Taking You Home, courtesy of VoigtJohnson Real Estate. You can hear the program Thursday morning, 7:23, Saturday afternoon at 12:53, and remember, start that home search at VoigtJohnson.com. Heidi, good morning.
Good morning.
We have lots to talk about this morning here, and I got to think one of the best, most favorite things is, Happy New Year, right? As we are turning that page, we kind of talked a little bit about this last week, but maybe it's time to do some updating, not only for your home, but how about in the search and where you're going?
For sure. Especially this year, I think it's important for people who have dabbled in the idea of doing something maybe
That's
even
a
last
great
spring.
word.
Yeah, because there's dabblers, and we love dabblers. They turn into buyers and sellers
Absolutely,
eventually, right? Yeah. But they've done a little bit of dabbling, thinking they're going to do something. Maybe did not like the news that they received from a lender saying this is what a purchase like this would look like.
Yep.
And so there's been some slight adjustments on the pricing. There's been slight adjustments on interest rates.
Okay.
And some of those things combined together will give you maybe a little bit more purchasing power than you would have had a year ago.
Okay.
So my encouragement would be for people to maybe visit with your lender again and then revise your search. Like if we have you set up on a search and you've been looking at this amount of property, maybe revise that. Maybe visit what some different kind of opportunities that you might have. And, I specifically started thinking about this more so I just had a closing. And this client I've helped buy and sell 3 homes, and they're not your prototypical buy, starter home, go to the next home, go to the last home, and then downsize from there. They bought based on opportunity presented for equity build.
Yes.
And I just love that.
How smart is that?
Well, it's really smart.
Absolutely.
And it's not for everyone.
Right,
because,
right.
If you have a family situation where you need a certain amount of bedrooms and school district and all those different things, it's not for everybody. But, boy, is this a smart thing for some people to be able to go into a marketplace and say, where can I gain the most equity?
Yeah.
And I do think that there's going to be a great opportunity for people who are second-time buyers that are in a move-up mode to be able to find homes with good pricing and negotiate that pricing, but also maybe shift your mind and say, okay, well, do I need the house that's the cleanest? And it's kind of polar opposite of what we were just talking about.
Right.
Like update your house so it's easy to sell.
Right.
Well, if you're a buyer, maybe look for that opportunity where you're not the best house in the neighborhood, but you're in a really good neighborhood, and build that equity. And that's an old school thought.
Yes, ma'am. Done it 3 times.
Yeah, but it's so beneficial, and you build memories while you're doing it. But the equity build is really great. I think about this from the perspective of way back when some old neighbors of mine, we sold their home. They did not make out great on the house that they had, but the next home that they built, based on time, the equity that they built in the one home was $175,000 by the time they sold versus $60 of what they would have made on the other one. So sometimes making that move, when you look at it from a perspective of what is it costing me now, isn't the only thing you should be looking at. You can say, it's going to cost me this now, but am I moving into a price point where I'm making the most?
Okay, think about this. How many people are turning 65 every single day or 75 every single day now, right?
Yeah.
So what do those people want? So if you're going to be buying a house, you might want to think about, or building a house, think about that, as you said, the price point and appreciation levels, right? Where am I going to make the most money? I understand where it is not the easiest thing to think about that, like you said, when you're raising a family, but boy, if you can do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's where you have the conversation with your agent, right? And you say, okay, what are you hoping to, what's your objective? What are you hoping to achieve?
Let me ask you this. Do people understand that part going in when they're 25, 30 years old, or does it take a while for the whole real estate thing to sink in?
Well, I think everybody's at a different level, and I think it really depends on the conversations they've had with the people that are important to them, like their parents and their spouse, and people that they work with. Like how educated and ingrained are they into the idea of building wealth through owning a home, and what are the conversations they've had.
Especially if you can get in the right starter home, right, and do it. For me, I'll just tell you the story about, for the 10th time, finish the basement, build the garage, right?
Yep, yeah, and those are all things that you probably did with a friend or a buddy,
Absolutely.
or with a permit, right?
Yeah, in a different city though.
Yeah,
It's okay.
But those are things that for a while we haven't had those conversations, and those opportunities are definitely coming forward again.
Oh, okay, you don't have a crystal ball,
Yeah.
but is there a particular category of home that would show or have the best perspective, I guess, in increasing in value?
Yeah, it's interesting to see that as it evolves, and when we look at split levels, for example.
Sure.
And this kind of feeds into where we were last time we spoke. The split levels are a home that people are always buying because it's affordable and offers a lot of space.
Right.
But again, the buyers that buy those homes, they have the expectation that they're updated, right?
Yes,
That they have certain amount of updates. So if you're going to be buying one of those homes, usually you're paying for those updates and or you're going to have to do them. So your equity build might be a little bit smaller in a home like that. Whereas if you push yourself out of a $350 price point or let's say $325 to $350 and say, okay, well, I'm actually going to buy something at $380 that is a different category of home that needs some work, but it's on a 1 acre lot, then all of a sudden you're in a position where you're in an equity build at that point.
Yep.
But it takes work, and it's not for everybody. I mean, it takes discipline and imagination and your weekends.
That's true.
Yeah. So, but it just depends on what's important to people.
And a little luck never hurts either.
Yeah,
right?
and timing.
There
Yes,
you go.
that's right.
Heidi, how do we work with you at VoigtJohnson Real Estate?
Well, we'd love for you to call us at 320-774-2400, or we have a website with a great gallery of agents, VoigtJohnson.com.
Absolutely. Start that home search at VoigtJohnson.com. Catch the show Thursday morning at 7:23, Saturday afternoon at 12:53. Heidi, thank you.
Yep, you bet.